Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, and freaks of nature of all ages. My name is Brian Bad Hippie Jackson, and welcome to my YouTube. And welcome back to Let's Build Treasures of the Dead using UDK. I believe this is episode 14, and this one really shouldn't take too very long. We're just going to do a couple of quick things. Now, what we're going to do first, of course, we're here in level 1, and this is something that we're going to do in every single level. We're going to pass it through. Now, I've already done this just to make sure it works. It's right there in my player startup. It is a simple player spawned and a very simple matinee, and we did not even have to create any new objects to attach to that matinee. And I'm going to go ahead and break the link real quick so that we can see how the game normally starts. This is something that's going to affect the beginning of the game. So when we hit play, as you know before, it starts and the character spawns in, and then we have our instructions, and then we can move. And I did change the instructions a little bit. All I did was, just because I'm getting lost in stuff, in the instructions, when we spawn in, we have that little bit of delay. We play the first announcement that tells us to look and turn with the mouse. It has the toggle cinematic mode that starts when the player spawns. And then this delay was 4 seconds, and I changed it to 2 seconds. And when that delay finishes, it plays the second announcement about how to move and turns that toggle cinematic off so that we can actually move. So I just changed that delay from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. But the big thing that we're wanting to change in this is when we play, you can see how the character drops down. So let me go ahead and let's see, break those links right there so that we don't have that delay. Okay, but you can see the character kind of drop down from mid-air and then get that solid little landing. And we really don't want that. We want it to look like the character is starting on the ground. We don't want to see that drop. So that's what we're going to be doing, is learning how to set this cinematic up. So if I reconnect that to play, when we play, we get a fade in. So it starts at black, it fades in. Now the character still drops down like he always did. We've just got a really quick fade in so you can't see it happen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to 86 this whole sequence. Control X right there. And I'm going to show you how that works so that we can hide that drop down. Alright, so what we want to do is we're going to, of course, go into our player startup, because it's something that's going to start up at the beginning of every level. We're going to right click, we're going to select a new event, and we're going to go ahead and go with a player spawned. Now we want to make sure that this one is set to infinite so that if we die, we get that fade in every time we spawn in when we die. And with that being set to infinite and it being an independent player spawn, it doesn't matter where we are in the level, it doesn't matter where we die, that will be effective every time we spawn in, whether it's the very beginning or whether it is a checkpoint. Now we're going to right click and we're going to create a new matinee. We're going to run the player spawned to the play of the matinee. Now we're going to open up our matinee, and what we're going to create is a new director group. We don't need to do anything else down here. We're not attaching any kind of objects to this, no cameras, nothing, because by default let me go ahead and minimize that real quick. Your director group will automatically select the player camera, as you can see right there. That's what it's automatically going to play through, is that player camera. So that's the wrong one. Minimize that, bring that one back up. Okay, So what we're going to need in this is we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom this in just a little bit, and we're going to take our green slider out to about 1.5 seconds, and with the director track and the director group selected, we're going to hit enter, and the only thing we're going to be able to select and cut to group is the director group, which is what we want to use there, and that's going to give us our first keyframe in the director group. Now on director group, we will right click, and we're going to go down, and right under new director track, we're going to add a new fade track. And on keyframe 1, the keyframe 0, we're going to push enter and create a new fade track. Now by default, your new fade track is going to be set at a value of 0, which is fully lit. We want to change that to 1, which is, as you can see in the window, completely dark. Now we're going to slide our slider up to about 0.75, and once again, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate because we can manually set our time. So we'll hit enter, right click, set time 0.75, and that's going to put us right at 0.75. And then we're going to right click, set value, and we're going to set that value to 1 as well, because we want to make sure that it stays completely dark for just a little bit more than 0.5 seconds. That's going to give our character time to make that fall from where the player start icon is in the air and land on the ground without the actual human player seeing that fall happen. Now we're going to take our slider and move it down to 1.5, because 0.75 plus 0.75 is 1.5. We're going to hit enter, right click, set time, make sure it's at 1.5 even, and then we're going to grab our little green doodaddy, right click, move to longest selected track endpoint, which is that one right there. Make sure that works right, and then we're going to go up to about 5 seconds where the red one is by default. And the difference between the red and the green is our primary looping area, and the red is the full length of the cinematic. I really don't ever use them for anything because I've never gotten into cinematics or matinees that were complicated enough for them, but that's pretty much the difference. We're going to move this back down. Okay, so now what we've got is at keyframe 0, it's completely dark. At 0.75, it's still completely dark, and then we have a fast fade between 0.75 and 1.5 to it being completely light. Alright, and that's going to give us, oh, yeah, I got to close Matinee first. Let's go ahead and do that. So that's set up. Oh, man, all these particles. Alright, so select all emitters, hide. I just don't like them all in the way. Okay. And so now when we press play, we've got our fade in. And you can't see the character fall from mid-air. But there is one minor problem with it, and that minor problem with it is if I kill myself, or if we die by some way, when we respawn, you'll see that that cinematic did not play again. That matinee didn't play. And even though we have the player spawn set to 0, the matinee did not play. So what we have to do to make sure that that matinee plays every time is right underneath looping, we have rewind on play. So we want to make sure we check rewind on play on. And now, when we first start up, we get our fade in. We're going to sit here and burn ourselves to death. And when we respawn, we get our fade in. And then if we combine that, not camera, with our delay, instructions and delay, then now we get the beginning game instructions as well. And we can move a little bit faster, and if we burn ourselves to death or get killed for some reason, since those instructions are on a single-use trigger, it only happens one time and we don't have to worry about it again. I'm going to go ahead and kick that flashlight on, and then we're just going to run around real quick, and we're going to get to our first checkpoint, and we're going to kill ourselves just after our first checkpoint so that we can make sure that that fade in works at any place in the level. And it'll probably take a little longer to do it than it should, because I'm also tempted to just grab that switch. But we're not going to grab the switch. We just want to... I can't help myself. I have to pick stuff up, and, you know, it's just me. I'm trying not to. I'm going to make it time effective if I can. Okay, stay away from the treasure box. Just hit the switch. That's all you're in here for. C, crouch. And then we go through, we hit our checkpoint. And we sound like a robotic Arnold Schwarzenegger getting killed. Alright, there we go. And we're dead. And when we restart at the checkpoint, that fade works at the checkpoint as well. Okay. And that is how we do that. So we're going to go ahead and drag a box around that. Right click, create new sequence, and we're just going to call that fade in, because that's exactly what it is a fade in. And now we've got a fade in to go along with everything else, and that is a really simple piece of kismet that we can put at the beginning of every single level, so that we don't see that player fall from the icon point in the air to land on the ground. Makes things seem just a little bit more realistic. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and file and save our current level so that we've got it saved like that. Please do not forget to check the links in the description below for the Disabled American Veterans and the Wounded Warriors Project. Let's please help support our veterans. If you liked the video, then hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends and family to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Please don't forget to leave me a comment. They're always welcome, good, bad, or somewhere in between. Thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate your support, your time, your encouragement. I love every one of you. And until next time, this is Brian Bad Hippie Jackson saying peace, love, clean underwear, and happy gaming.